Hey guys, Evacso here. Today I got legendary difficulty realistic sliders, 2 slider sets, one for the longer halves and one for the shorter halves. So the last 2 weeks I've been working on these sliders and I wanted to get them out a lot earlier than this, but there's been a couple title patches out and they've sort of changed a few things, but also the CPU is just not really good at attacking. So that's mostly the big thing I've been working on, and trying to get the CPU just to make some more chances. It's not like they're bad at attacking, it's just they don't really make any goal chances really. Like, they can really hold the ball and pass around, but they can't make goal scoring chances. So I've been mostly using these sliders on 7-minute halves and 8-minute halves, so that's probably what you guys would be using them on, but they also work on 9 minutes and 10-minute halves. Obviously the difficulty level is legendary. Got the competitive mode on off and play based difficulty on off as well. Moving to the CPU sliders, so we've got tackle aggression, increasing that a little bit, trying to make it a couple more free kicks and more slide tackles happening. Obviously there's not many yellow cards and not many fouls in general in the gameplay, but if you put this up too much you probably will be struggling to score any goals, or there just might be a crazy amount of slide tackles. You just don't want that to happen. Build up speed at 48, it's probably the best setting even for short halves as well. Shot frequency, just increasing that. So obviously I'm trying to make the CPU have a lot of advantages, just take more shots, just be a lot more aggressive in attack. So as well, with the first touch pass frequency on 51, crossing frequency on 75, and dribble frequency on 38. Now if you're still finding that the CPU aren't making enough chances, increasing the dribble frequency will definitely help. So that's one thing you would like to be putting up if you're not having enough chances from the CPU team. So put this up to 40, maybe 41, 42. I like this at 38 at the moment. They are very good at dribbling. So once you start increasing that, they might just run straight through you. It's very difficult to defend with the dribble. Skill move frequency on 50. And moving on to the game type settings. So before I get into the player speed, please like and subscribe if you haven't. Just hit 5k subscribers. Thank you for getting me there. Let's keep going. So we've got sprint speed on 40 for user and CPU. You might think it's a little bit slow. If you do think it's a little bit slow, you can put this up to 41 or 42 for user and CPU. Acceleration on 46 for user and 47 for CPU. So pretty much I'm trying to give an advantage for CPU pretty much in every category. Shot error at 65 for using CPU. The CPU is pretty good at shooting though. Shot speed on 49 for using CPU. Now header shot error is on 22, so just increase that a little bit from the world class difficulty ones. I was finding that I was getting a lot of goals right at the start of the game, so I increased this a little bit, but since then I haven't been getting many goals from headers, but it's more down to the header shot speed. I don't know if shot speed affects header shot speed. That's obviously not a slider setting, or not a slider setting yet. And well, I think the shot error is actually still good for headers, just the shot speed, I don't know, they must have just lowered that a little bit in the last few title updates. They haven't been scoring many goals from headers. Pass error on 57 for using CPU. Pass speed on 44 for using CPU. Another advantage for the CPU, you can put this up to 45. Header pass error at 55 for using CPU. Injury frequency up to 65 for using CPU, and lowered the severity down to 25 for using CPU. Goal capability on 49. They're just too good for anything above 50, and the authentic ones were at like 55. They're too good at keeping, like they are diving outside the goal, which you don't want happening. That is not realistic at all. Team position marking, we got user team on 68. Again, you can put this down to 67, especially if you have a good team. Versus a lower team, you're going to be finding it too easy to defend. Marking on 70 for CPU. Again, you can put this one up to 71 if you're still scoring too many goals. Run frequency on 57 for user team and 60 for CPU. I find that you really do need to increase the run frequency over 50, or they're just not going to make enough runs. They did make a title update where the wingers make some more runs. I still find that they don't make enough runs though. I know they said they've increased it, but it's not enough, and the striker doesn't make enough runs. He just stands too much centrally and not a lot of movement, even when you're doing like build up style and stuff, like even doing tactics, it's just not making enough runs. Line height on 78 for user and 72 for CPU. I've always found that the user team's line just drops way too quick. I don't know why they are a little bit different for some reason, but yeah, the user team's line always drops more than the CPU team. So increase that to 78. So then at least the CPU team has a little bit of chance to make some through balls in behind. Line length on 36 for using CPU. Line width on 57 for using CPU. Full back positioning on 85 for using CPU. Ball control, we've got power bar 50. Again, it's your preference. You can put this up a little bit, up to like 55 max. First touch control error on 70 for using CPU. Intercept error on 75 for using CPU. Ball deflection error is on 75 for using CPU, and you got the defending tackle assistance on 50, and I don't think I'll be changing that all year. So that's it for the longer halves. They are probably a little bit more of a difficult legendary difficulty sliders, just because there's a lot of people wanting some hard legendary difficulty sliders. Anyways, let's get into the short game sliders. Okay, so for my short game sliders, I've been using them mostly on 5-minute halves, but they also work on 4-minute halves and 6-minute halves. And again, level is legendary, competitive mode on off, player based difficulty on off. Now let's go into the camera settings, but I forgot to show you the camera settings. So my camera settings is just broadcast camera, single player camera is the broadcast. Make sure you custom the camera settings, go to height to 10 and zoom on 0. That's just the most realistic camera that you would see when you're watching a normal football match. Now into the CPU sliders, you got tackle aggression again on 70, build up speed again on 48, shot frequency just increase that a little bit just to make some more shots in the short game sliders. First touch pass frequency is the same, crossing frequency is the same. I think dribble frequency going up a little bit. I think it was on 38 for the longer halves, 40 for the short game sliders. Again, you can put this up to a 42 if you want. Find it a little bit too easy to defend. And skill move frequency on 50. Now before I get in the game type settings, I will say these are probably my favourite sliders, these short game sliders. I just had a lot of fun playing with these. Good gameplay where you're just attacking, players running in the midfield, a lot of like 1-2s and triangle passes. It's just very fun, I think, with the short game sliders. Anyways, player speed, we've got 41 for using CPU, so increase that a little bit. Acceleration of 45 for user and acceleration on 46 for CPU. Shot error 62 for using CPU. Shot speed on 49 for using CPU. If you're finding you're not scoring enough goals from outside the box, because I was sort of fluctuating between 50 and 49, but I thought it's too easy to convert shots inside the box at 50. But again, you can choose with it whatever you want, 49 or 50. For using CPU. I just wanted to let some more goals from outside the box, and I wasn't scoring too many with 49. Header shot error the same, 22. Pass error on 56 for user and 55 for the CPU. Just a little advantage for the CPU team. Pass speed on 44 for user and 45 for CPU. Header pass error on 55 for using CPU. Injury frequency the same, severity the same. Goal capability on 48 for using CPU, just lowered that a little bit. For the short games, marking on 63 for user and marking on 66 for CPU. So that's a pretty big difference, but again, like the CPU team just doesn't really make enough chances. And I found in the short game sliders, I really needed to find a lot of advantages for them to score into that short game sort of time. They just weren't making any chances. It was quite fun for the attacking side for the user team, but just too easy to defend, way too easy, so had to lower this down to 63. Again, find it still too easy, chuck this down to 62. Run frequency on 52 for user and 60 for CPU. Yeah, massive difference. If you still find that the CPU team isn't making enough runs, you can put this up to about 61, 62. And run frequency for user team, you can put this up to 55 if you want. That's just the max you should probably put it on. I've just lowered this down a fair bit because there is just a lot of easy chances of making like passes and 1-2s that you don't really need the run frequency that high. Line height on 77 for using CPU. I just found in the short games that the line height wasn't as big of a difference. Yeah, I don't know, sometimes you change the minute halves and line heights just sort of fluctuates really. Line length on 36 for user and 34 for CPU. Line width on 58 for user and 57 for CPU. So you would think on 58 it would be very like wide, very open. but just because the normal gameplay is very narrow, 58 is probably like normal 50, like back in FC25. Fullback position on 85 for using CPU. Ball control, power bar on 50 for using just the user team. Again, it's your preference. You can put this up to 55 if you want. First touch control error on 68 for using CPU. Intercept error on 75 for using CPU. Ball deflection error on 72 for using CPU. And defending again is on 50 for using CPU. So that's it for my legendary difficulty sliders. I will be making some ultimate difficulty realistic sliders and player career mode sliders, probably for legendary most likely at the moment, unless they might be a little bit too easy still. I might be doing it on ultimate difficulty. I just want to make the most realistic, which is probably going to be very difficult sliders for player career mode, and that will be probably out next week. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys later.